Welcome, everyone. It's Football No Filter. I'm your co host, Bruno Krak. I am with my friend here, Georgie and Steph. Steph, how are you today?
Not too happy. We lost. We didn't want to lose. We wanted to delay the title to Porto. I mean, you guys were going to win anyway. But first off, congratulations to all of you, to the Portista Nacional. You
Thank you
guys,
very much.
you guys deserved it. You the more regular team in Liga Nos. So, congrats. But it's a sad day for Sporting. We didn't want to lose at the Dragão. Even a tie was pretty bad. The win was the goal, but we didn't. And we'll talk about it. But no, not a good day.
And we have Georgie. Georgie, what's up? What's up, my man? How are you?
What's going on, my man? Congratulations to the FC
Thank
Corrupto Nation on title number 29. Well deserved, I think, this year.
Well deserved, he says.
Yeah, most regular team, right? A very smart man once said, "Whoever gets to the end with the most points is always a deserving winner."
At least this season it was. At least this season it was. You know, and we're still not done. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, Georgie. Let's go right into. I'm actually posting our episode now for our listeners to listen to hear. So episode number 9 is up. I'm gonna go through the scores that are up to date as so far. There has been quite amount of changes these last couple of days. It all started with Marítimo and Rio Ave 0-0. That was on Monday. And then Setúbal won Famalicão 2. Famalicão with a late winner. And they beat Setúbal, who's right now desperate for points. Santa Clara routs Aves 3-0. Portimonense gets a gigantic win against Boa Vista 2-1. Gil Vicente has a 3-0 lead, and they almost blow it. They win 3-2 against Tondela. Tondela with 2 late goals. Could have got the tie, but ended up not getting it. Benfica 2, Guimarães 0. Moreirense 1, Passos de Ferreira 1. A huge point for Passos Ferreira. Braga and Belenenses 1-1. Big point for Belenenses. And then we have Porto 2, Sporting 0 that ended today. So the table looks as follows, and I hate when this happens. I get these stupid ads on my application. Porto 79, Benfica 71, Sporting 59, Braga 57, Famalicão 52, Rio Ave 51, Guimarães 46, Moreirense 43, Gil Vicente 42, Santa Clara 41, Marítimo, Boa Vista both with 38, Passos Ferreira 35 points, Tondela, Portimonense 30, Setúbal now also 30, but in 17th place. And then we have Aves at 17. Before we start, I want to add our guest, Steve.
Boa noite.
Vias para a festa.
Vamos para a festa.
All right.
Desde a Flórida, meu. Desde a Flórida.
There's the Florida. Okay, so we're all over.
Awesome.
Steve, Steph, Steve, George, Steve.
How you
Prazer,
doing?
pessoal. Prazer.
How you doing, Steve?
How are you? Prazer.
Parabéns.
Obrigado, meu. Bom jogo, foi um bom jogo hoje.
Sim, foi.
Thank you for number 1. Thank you for joining us. Number 2, we're gonna get George is gonna actually kick off this thing. He's gonna break down his game with Guimarães. A game that Guimarães needed to win, and they fell a little short. They had a lot of chances. Benfica ended up winning the game. They were more efficient in goal, and as the old saying goes, "Que no marca sofre." You know what, George? Before we get to that, you guys want to quickly break down the bottom of the table? I think that's been a tradition of ours that we look at the relegation zone to kind of give those clubs some attention. So obviously everyone knows they have been demoted. Setúbal, Portimonense, Tondela 30 points, Bolonense 32, Paços Ferreira 35. What do you guys think?
Gonna be tough. Gonna be
I'm
tough.
surprised with Stubble because when they all came back from the coronavirus break, they had a 12-point lead, and they blew it.
Yeah.
So now Stubble could be relegated to the second division after being having 12 points lead. So that's kind of surprising. Kudos to Bolnense, or the fake Bolnense. They got they snatched 1 point today against Braga no 1º de Maio. So that's a big point because they're fighting to stay in the first division, and Braga has been playing better and better, and they should have won the game 3 or 4-1, but they kept on missing easy goals. So it's going to be the last two games. It's going to be very interesting at the bottom.
Georgie, what's up? What do you think, man?
Yeah, same thing. I think it's gonna be a close one, and it's gonna be. I think we spoke about it a couple of shows already. It's gonna come up to that last game against Vitória, Setúbal against Belenenses. I think that's going to decide who's gonna go down.
I just want to introduce our audience. Johnny Sinatra joined us. Johnny, welcome aboard on the show. Steve, what do you think? What do you think is your prediction? Because we haven't had your opinion on the prediction down at the bottom. We got Paços Ferreira 35, Belenenses 32, Tondela, Portimonense, Setúbal 30. Who's dropping? Who's not dropping?
I think, to me, Vitória is gone. Well, próximo jogo, Sporting. That's a no-brainer, unless something happens. Next game, Belenenses, by the way they've been playing. All right, not bad. But I think, to me, it's Vitória is gone.
You think Setúbal's out?
Yeah, I think, to me, they're out.
All right. So you think Portimonense is going to save their ass?
Yeah, I think Portimonense can still do it.
Okay. Johnny, what do you think? What's your prediction?
What's up, fellas? What's
How
up,
are you?
fellas? Good evening. I'm good.
Evening.
Thank you for having me. I mean, personally, I rather see Tondela
You would like to
get
see
relegated.
What?
Yeah.
What is there a reason why?
Obvious, right?
Please,
The history
explain.
between Sporting and
Sporting,
Tondela, like, yeah.
Even I got that, bro.
He knows. He knows.
Even I got that. Look, bro, come on. A few seasons ago, we got shafted by them too, bro.
I mean, hey,
Foi com
They're-
foi com o Espírito Santo, se não estou enganado.
they're one of those teams that they just have one of the big clubs' numbers. So Tondela used to take the points from Porto and Sporting. Now they're taking points from Benfica. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's actually very interesting up there. All right. So I'm gonna bring back George into this whole thing. I know he's gonna be talking about his beloved Benfica. I don't know where he's at right now. Before we get that start, so I'm just gonna kind of move things
Foi
along.
buscar a cartilha, foi.
Foi buscar a cartilha. Okay. Steph, I'll let you kind of do a little preview or whatever your analysis on the game. Go ahead.
Which game? The Benfica game?
Yeah, the Benfica game.
Okay, so Benfica. You want to do the lineup? I'll do the lineup really fast.
Go ahead.
Okay, so they started with Odysseus, Nuno Tavares, Jardel, Ruben Dias, Zé Almeida. Then in the midfield, Frank Servi, Gabriel Pires, Wengel, que quase foi para a rua, devia ter ido para a rua, o Pizzi, Chiquinho e o Vinícius. I mean, Benfica, they started kind of It was 50-50 in the first half. Guimarães, especially Marcus Edwards, what a player! I don't even know how Guimarães were able to get this guy. I know he's on a loan, but he should be on the top three teams of our league. He's phenomenal. This guy. He's from Everton, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct?
Edwards, right? Talking
Yeah.
about Edwards.
Yeah.
Tottenham.
Tottenham, yeah.
Okay. This guy
Tottenham.
is pretty good. He almost scored, and if Guimarães would have scored that goal that he should have been in, it would have been a different game.
Oh, yes. I agree 100%.
Yeah. But Benfica held on to it, and they played a game, and they, I'm not going to take too long on the Benfica game. And they won fair and square 2-0. I know people they claiming that Wengo should have gotten the second yellow card. I kind of agree because he pushed the guy's shoulder, and that should have been the second yellow card. But let's not forget that I forget the name of the Guimarães player that he got PZ on his ankles several times, and he should have gotten yellow cards as well, and he got away with those too. So I like to talk about both sides. I don't want to be biased. So, but that's what I gotta say against Benfica. They played a good game, and with this win, they guaranteed the second spot, and they're going to the third playoffs of the Champions League. And I believe it's only one game this time.
Yeah, I believe it's one game.
Yeah. So congrats to Benfica for securing the second spot, which means a lot. It's a lot of money, nos cofres deles. And they deserve the second spot. I mean, that's the least they could have done. They let the title slip to Futebol Clube Porto. Let's be honest. Benfica, after the Corona, wasn't the same. And that's it.
Georgie, go ahead, man. I know you had to step away real quick.
I did, yes.
What's your analysis?
Tive que servir de benfiquista. Foda-se.
Sim, é que é. Deep down, all of these Lisboetas are, especially Sportinguistas, they're all Benfiquistas.
Eu
It's
não
all
sou
good.
Lisboeta, portanto.
I know.
Eu sou do norte. So.
I wouldn't go that far.
I know. No, I think it was just a decent game. I think we had some good opportunities in the first half. I heard you guys talking about Wiggle and Viggle, whatever his name is, and the fouls. I think he could have been sent off. I think it was a good substitution on Verissim's part to save the game. I don't know how well we would have done against Guimarães with only 10 men. And then two good opportunities and two good finishes. I think, especially the Seferovic goal, but a little bit too late. So not too much to say. I mean, not a very eye-opening exhibition. Just a regular game, and I was surprised by Guimarães because Guimarães is usually a tougher game, and I just thought this was just a regular game. Parecia os casados contra os solteiros, like we used to say back in the day. So nothing excited, and just a good win, but doesn't do anything for us now.
Okay, Johnny or Steve, which one want to go first?
Johnny.
Yeah. So I just want to say about the Benfica game. I never thought I'd see All Out John start against Benfica after all these years.
He actually had a pretty good game.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. He actually kicked it, bro.
He did, of course.
He actually did a really good job. I think he was trying to show something to Benfica.
The Edwards and the Tavares battle was fun to watch for sure. It was a nice strike off the crossbar by Edwards, just an inch off of going in. And I must say that bicycle kick save by the Benfica keeper was very surprising. Very impressive. Very impressive.
Good play that
right there with the leg kick save.
Good play that Edwards kid.
Yeah, very good
for sure.
I don't even know how we landed Guimarães. Still boggles me.
Mourinho, man.
Well,
I can't hear Steph for some reason though.
You
Side
can't hear
note.
Steph?
No.
I'm not saying anything interesting anyway.
All right, Steve, go ahead. What's your analysis on this game?
I was at work, so I had a game going on there, but I wasn't really paying attention to it. From the first few minutes, I did see Guimarães attacking. I saw the crossbar. I saw Edwards doing his thing. Saw a couple of moves, and I actually thought in the second half, Guimarães was going to come in and mais, But actually, the second half, they disappeared. It was all the Benfica show right there. In the second half, that's how, to me, they think they actually scored the 2 goals. Weigl, whatever you call that guy, should have been out, but
Weigl.
Que é isso?
Yeah, same.
Mount.
Tomato.
Exato.
But I think it was George that said it. Very smart move on Verissimo, taking him out before something else happened. That was about it. I expected more from Guimarães, though.
I mean, right now, I think when you really analyze it, and their backs are against the wall, they cannot lose points. They have to pretty much win out to try to get to 5th place, and I think their pressure is definitely buckling those players.
That's it. They're done.
They don't have what it takes.
They're done, bro. They're even if they win their next 2 games, they're at 49 points. They're done.
Yeah.
The 7th place belongs to them.
Well, the last couple of games that they've dropped, that they couldn't have dropped points, and I think the pressure got to them, and that's that. And it actually played in Benfica's favor, because Benfica, although they didn't play an amazing game, they did enough to win. And again, when you're efficient in front of goal, that's all that matters. So,
I was actually watching. I don't know which one it was. It was on TV. I don't know if it was on Sportinguista or something. It's like, and I agree with this, is that the Guimarães has everything, but doesn't finish. That's the thing. They don't finish.
Yeah.
I kind of said that in the beginning of the year. They have a very good roster. It's just their strikers, the one thing that I question. And I think Leo Bonatini, I don't know if he's been hurt, injured. I don't know what's going on, but he hasn't been playing. And they've been bringing on this guy, Bruno Duarte, and he scored some goals, but he misses more than what he scores.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Guimarães, it's just not enough.
But I think he's injured, though.
Yeah,
George,
he's injured.
I'm going to pass the ball to you. You're going to start mediating the game between Porto and Sporting. So go right ahead, man. Do your thing.
So, I mean, first of all, again, like I said before, congratulations to Porto. Congratulations to Pep. One of my, even though there's not a lot of people that really appreciate everything that he brings to a game. It doesn't really matter what shirt you're wearing, but I can appreciate men that especially at the end of their careers, have an opportunity to go to China or to go to the Middle East and make a ton of money. And because of the love for the shirt, which is we don't see enough of that any longer. It's all about the green, all about the cash. And he came back to Porto with a huge pay cut, just to try to win a couple of more trophies. So congratulations, especially to him. I love the way he arrasta dele, not only in Porto, but in the national team. I'm not one of those ungrateful Portuguese that just because someone is from another club other than mine, I can't appreciate their play and the way in their effort, especially their effort. So congratulations to him. And I mean, I looked at the game. I think this was a perfect example of Sporting does have potential. They've been showing a lot of potential, but today they went up against a very experienced team, and I think Porto dominated it. I think the first half, from what I saw, I didn't catch the whole game, but from what I caught, Porto pretty much dominated the first half. There was a lot of opportunities from the kid Diaz that he got that handball. Pepe had a couple of opportunities also in front of the net. Diaz had one that the defender at the left post was able to take it out. out of the goal. So I think, like we've been speaking the last few weeks, Sporting still needs a little bit more. They have I think a really good coach. They have some really young kids that I think Ruben Amorim can develop, but they still going to need a little bit more of experience, 2-3 players with some experience, and to try to at least put a little bit of a front against the more experienced Porto and Benfica teams. But I'll let you guys battle it out. Bruno, well, what did you think of the game?
Well, I'll start with the lineups. I'll say mine. Steph will say his. Marchesín was in goal. Then was Manafá, Pep, Mavimba, and Tels, Diaz, Loom, Danilo, and Otavio. And then it was Fabio Vieira supporting Marega in some type of way. Steph, go ahead with yours.
We had Max at goalie, Quaresma, Coates, Borja on a 3-4-3. Then we had Stefan Gitowski, Nunes Mendes, Matheus Luiz Nunes, Wendell midfield. Then up front, Gonçalo Plata, András Porar, and Jovan Borges.
Okay. Well, I mean, in terms of the way the game started, I thought Sporting actually started out real strong. They came out very, very aggressive out of the lineup, and I thought that it was pretty even for the first 15 minutes. After the first 15 minutes, then things started to calm down. Porto started to circulate the ball better, and then eventually they started taking control of the game. And I really felt that Ruben Amorim did not look to attack Porto with numbers. He looked to counterattack mainly, and I was really surprised. I really thought that he was going to try to take advantage of Porto's very defensive midfield between Danilo and Loom, and it was a big surprise. Another thing that we have to look at is how Porto shaped up, because they went to a 4-2-3-1. Typically, Conceição doesn't play a 4-2-3-1, so he put Otavio in, and he was the guy that was taking away the passes, the passing lanes away from Wendell and from I think his name is Mateus. That's where a lot of the problems were created for Sporting, because they were looking to get the balls into those two guys, and he was always covered. The passing lanes were there, so they were not there. So I thought Porto eventually had a couple of chances, half chances. They were looking a little sloppy in the final third. They should have comboed a little bit better in the final third. They did circulate the ball okay. It could have been better. And that's pretty much it with the first half. Second half, I think Porto came out. They felt that they could get a goal. And immediately right after that, they just, once the first goal went in, Sporting was forced to open up. And eventually they got the second one later on in the game. I thought that Porto had a lot of better chances. Fabio Vieira had that shot off the crossbar. It was a great shot. Porto had some other half chances here and there. They were winning a lot of corners. But in the end, I think it was a justified win. Marchesín had some saves, but those were basically quote unquote routine saves. Nothing out of the ordinary. And that's pretty much it. I'll pass the ball to Johnny. Johnny, you want to go with this one? What's your analysis?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just have a list of thoughts about the game. I mean, very disappointing. Had a heavy heart for like the first, half hour, 45 minutes after the game, and then got over it. But we did all right, and the first half was actually pretty good. We had great intensity to start the game. Lots of trouble for Porto in the first, 10 minutes. Sporar wasting breakaway opportunities. Nuno with a couple double nutmegs in the beginning. I don't know if you've seen that. And that first minute was just a crazy sequence right there. Thought it was a handball. It was in. He was offside. He wasn't offside. It's just very confusing on what was going on right there.
No, it was definitely though.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a goal at first, but
Me too. I was like, God damn, this shit started early.
Yeah, moving on. I mean, Porto really should have brought out their fucking trunks and goggles today, though, out there on the field, man. You guys were just fucking flopping everywhere. Pep with some great acting as well. Sperrar challenged him with the header in the air. I mean, Hollywood should really be calling these guys up at this point in time. I mean, Danilo is way bigger than Plata, and they call him bogus fouls on him as well. Plata beats Pep to the ball at his own end, gets a foul call in the 18th minute. Great, and another great stop on the line there by Coates. I forgot what minute that was, but that was a huge stop. I thought Max was definitely beat on that, and that was an obvious goal, but he made it there in time. If Sporting can just head the damn ball, we'd be in good shape, and that we just can't seem to head the ball in for some reason. Some of the crosses were on point. Giovanni missed a header.
Giovanni missed. That's what I was gonna say. He missed a clear one too.
A clear one. Coates as well. Fabio Vieira, nice shot on our net, but he's got to quit crying, man. He's got to quit crying. Every time we touched him, it's like he broke his leg or something. Like, I don't get it.
I thought he was going
the whole
for
Porto performance until the goal was just
Olympic
asinine,
gold
in
medal
my
in
opinion,
swimming.
man. Pep fouls Window in the 57th minute. That should have been a direct red card. That was super dirty. Super, super dirty. And I just want to mention that ref looks like Randall. He's a cartoon character from the show Recess. I don't know the ref's name, but that's what he looks like to me.
Pinheiro, não é, João?
Yeah,
Pinheiro,
it's
like that.
Sporting was just totally demoralized after the goal went in. The experience just kicked in for Porto at that point. Joelson with a dangerous cross in the 80th. It went through everybody, like literally like 6 people. If someone would have just connected with that, that would have been an automatic goal. Then there was a duel between Coates and Manega in the Sporting box, I believe. Oh no, it was in their box, in Porto's box, where Coates headed it once. It was still in the air, kind of floated over to Manega, and he just lightly grazed him, and the ref calls another foul, bogus foul right there. Yeah, it's just despicable, man. Just a despicable display of refereeing today. I'm sorry, man.
It's all good.
Joelson not coming in. Joelson coming in only until the 80th minute, for me, was a bad sub. He should have came in earlier. He came in, but we weren't feeding him the ball enough. He's key to our offense at that point. So, for me, he came in way too late in the game. If he came in a little earlier, I think you would have had more opportunities and could have developed, something a little more. His performance would have been a lot better. Let's just put it that way. Man, that's all I got, man.
Okay. Steve, I'm going to pass the ball to you. Go right ahead. What's your analysis on the game?
All right. First minute. Scary. Very scary. When I saw the breakaway, I was like, this is not good. I'm actually happy that guy fell in the grande área and was called offside, because senão o jogo era totalmente diferente. Would have been a very, very different game right there. My thing is, I'm not really clear on this. 12th minute, Luis Diaz. a bola na mão. Ball gets passed over him. He's now looking. The only thing he's looking is forward. He's not looking at the ball or anything. He's running his hands up in motion. Ball hits his hand. Ball hits the floor. He taps it in. Should that be considered a mão na bola or bola na mão?
No, it's definitely a handball because it's an attacking player. So it's definitely going to be a handball all day, every day. So there's no way to get around that. There's no way around it. So
I was really like, I was like, wait, man, if it's because of the rule, mão na bola, bola na mão, now mão na bola, to me, that's, but okay, whatever.
The thing is that he took advantage of the handball. Eventually, he scored. If that was defensive, it probably wouldn't have been called a handball because he had no intention to play it at all. And he wasn't even looking at it. But since
that's what I'm saying.
But he was actually looking at it. When you see on V-play, he was actually looking at it. And that's why.
No, he knows the ball's going to come to him, but as the ball's coming, he's looking forward at the net. So, he's running his hands like.
But he interrupted the trajectory of the ball, and then that tricked Max, and that's why the VAR called it handball.
I mean, hey, I was like,
I don't even think it was the VAR.
No, it didn't go to
VAR. It was the linesman.
No, it didn't go to VAR. It was the linesman. He called it out right away.
The VAR said something too. I mean, they always analyzing every play. So
if it was a defensive play, it would have gotten a different look than when it's an attacking play.
Right. When it's an attacking player and you take advantage of that, there's no way around it.
Yeah. So there, I rest my case on that one. Clean call. That's that.
Right. Steph. Go ahead, because Steph has a question. Because you're talking about the first half. Do you see it on the screen, Steph?
I do, but let Steve finish what he was.
Okay, go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Other than that, like everyone said, like after 15 minutes, Sporting was doing it, actually showing like we were gonna have a battle on the field. 20 minutes, 25 minutes in, Porto starts controlling more and more. Yeah, we saw some, flopping around like Johnny had said, but from both sides, because you also have, it was, I think, Vieira and, I don't know the name of the kid, man. It was number 35. And he's bigger and he's bigger than Vieira, goes right into Vieira, and Vieira stays up there, and this guy just goes down. I'm like, come on. But we all know this is Portuguese soccer. Mm-hmm. The Portuguese league. Mm-hmm. These refs, any little thing, boom, right away. They're stopping it. That's why sometimes I even tell Bruno and our group over there, like, man, it gets harder and harder to watch the league. Like the Championship League of England is more exciting to watch than our league. But that's a conversation for another day. Other than that, I love the way the game went. Good moment I'm very happy for Pep. Love that motherfucker. Goals phenomenal. Sporting has some chances too. I thought they would actually go for it. Other than that, that's it. Porto campeão e siga para frente. Para o ano a mais. E agora ganhar a Taça de Portugal, é claro. Deixar as equipas de Lisboa um bocado azia para o resto do ano.
Mãos a banar.
Mãos a banar.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Steph.
Okay, so the question from Juice Box Leal, it says, Steph, what do you think was Sporting's biggest problem today? The first half wasn't great, but I thought it was back and forth, and we still had a chance. Second half was pathetic. Well, he sums it up. I mean, in the first half, I thought it was an interesting game, 50-50. Another question, do you know what happened with Pedro Mendes? He was on out. Okay. So basically, the game itself in the first half was kind of interesting. Teams, they were kind of feeling each other to see how they could break into each other's defense. Great battle in the midfield. then initially Sporting was a little bit stronger. Then Porto balanced everything out, and it was, I would say, 50-50. No, I didn't see any great chances of goal. The first disallowed goal was an offside by Sporting. Sporar was offside. The goal by Porto was also a handball. So and that sums it up. The second half, um, we tried our best. A team that's being rebuilt with a lot of youth. We lack a little bit of experience, especially against a mature team like Futebol Clube Porto. Sérgio Conceição, he played today to win the game. He didn't want to fuck around waiting until playing against Moreirense. It's a team that hasn't lost in 13 games. I think people forget that. So Sérgio Conceição today he put in all his chips and he said, "I better win today. I don't want any surprises," and I don't blame him. After we suffered the first goal at minute 64, I agree with Johnny and Steve. I saw a little bit of flopping from Futebol Clube Porto players, but it's expected. I mean, they winning one. They up by one. They about to be champions of Portugal. Of course, they're gonna burn time with flopping and shit. It's our Portuguese league the way it is. The referees allowed that. We have allowed it for many years. It's not in just in 2019 and 20. It's the culture of our league. I hate it too. I agree with Steve. The Premier League is much more exciting because the referees deixam dar assim umas castadas. I like that kind of football as well. They don't call everything a foul. In the Portuguese league, it's constantly stopping the game, and it becomes ugly that way. That's why it's not attracting fans from other countries, because our league is too boring. And then when we play in the Champions League and the Liga Europa, we struggle because we're used to the referees giving us all kind of bullshit fouls.
Yep.
But after minute 64, Amorim made 5 changes. And that perder por or perder por dois, or perder por três, tanto faz. He was going after the 1-1. It fired back on him. I knew Marega was a dangerous player. He just needed one open lane, and he got that line and that lane, and then he scored. But with so many changes, we had Tiago Tomás coming in, Rafael Camacho, Francisco Geraldes, Joelson Mendes, Fernandes. It was a lot of changes. We did our best. We actually, after the first goal, Sporting started attacking Porto, and then Sporting, being the Matreira and Raposa Velha que é, start faking some injuries and put Sporting in ice. And then those precious minutes of the Massagista coming in to the pitch did break Sporting rhythm. But that's part of the game. I could be upset. I could turn green, yellow, blue. It doesn't matter. It's part of the game. And if it was Sporting up by 1-0, Sporting would have done the same thing, or any other team. I was upset. I was actually cursing at the goddamn phone, saying, "Why do players act the way they do?" But then after the game was over, 30 minutes later, I accepted the reality. It's just the way it is. Overall, all I can say is Sporting is rebuilding the team, growing pains, and it's
the key word right there.
Yeah. Porto was just better today, more mature, a more experienced team, mais cínico, and Sérgio Conceição, he knows what he's doing. I think this will be it for Sérgio Conceição. I think he's leaving Porto. I don't think he'll stay. He'll leave on a high note, unless Pinto Costa promises him new players.
I don't think he's leaving.
Congratulations to Futebol Clube Porto mais uma vez. The more consistent team in this league throughout the season. They deserve the title. I would say this time with no corruption. for this title. And congratulations. That's it.
Hey, just on that Sergio Conceição topic, just an interesting statistic. So Sergio Conceição ties José Mourinho and Hagen as the only three coaches that in a season to beat Porto and to beat Benfica and Sporting all 4 games. So the only one of 3 coaches to ever win both games against Benfica and both games against Sporting.
Yep.
In the season.
In regards to Pedro Mendes, I don't know what's going on with him, but apparently it's got to be something with the player because he's had 3 different coaches and they never play him. So I'm leading to believe that it's something that he doesn't practice well or something, because he's had Ruben Amorim, Silas, Peseiro, so a lot of coaches taking different looks. So I think it's a Kaiser. So I think it's a problem with the player.
All right. I'm going to quickly take this one. Rob chimed in. Bruno, do you think question for the panel last year? Basically, to sum it up, Pep came in last year. Porto had a 7-point lead. We lost the lead. We lost the title. This year, he comes in, he starts, and Porto's more solidified. I think it's actually a lot of people don't even realize this. The reason that Porto has been so solid the last couple of games has been Mavimba. Mavimba's been the real guy. Yes, don't get me wrong. Pep has had a sensational season. But the compliment to Pep is Mavimba, and he's been outstanding. And today he showed why he's so outstanding, because he's just much faster than Marcano. He doesn't make the mistakes that Marcano makes. Sometimes Marcano has these brain stoppages once in a while where he's making bad passes in the defensive third where you cannot give up balls. And I think Mavimba has been the real reason why you see so much of Pep in a good way. I think they both complement each other very, very well. And I think Mavimba is a guy that, we have to keep for next year.
Let me just answer that because I think it's a really good question. I think it's an awesome question. And I think his question wasn't in regards to how they're playing this year. It's what happens when a player comes in, especially a player the status of Pepe, or a player like Vigil that the club just paid 20 million euros for, and automatically you assume, or the coach assumes, either they assume or they're told that this player has to go in the starting lineup the next game up. And what happens within the team with all the other players when this happens? I think it's a great question. It's a great question. Excuse me, I just got something stuck in my throat here, so give me 1 second.
Porto.
That's it. So I think last year when Pep came in, there was a whole big thing with Militao. He had to go, I believe, to the right, correct, Bruno? He left from center back to go play in the right back, so Pep could slide into the center back position.
Yes.
Remember, Militao at São Paulo had experience at right back, but obviously that didn't translate.
He wasn't very happy when that happened.
No, but it didn't translate to the European game. It was a little different. His function was a lot different in this system versus when he was playing at São Paulo. So it definitely changed. And yes, there was probably some chemistry that was touched, and a lot of Portistas didn't like that.
And now this year, the correlation with Porto last year and Benfica this year is that we buy a player for 20 million euros, and the next game up he starts, right? And I think this game was a really good example of, I'm a very big critic of Wiggle because I just don't see I just don't see where you spent $20 million in a position that I don't believe we needed any to waste any money in that position, especially after we got Gabriel. And then this week, Wiggle is taken out because of the Iscardi situation, and then who comes in? Florentino comes in, I believe,
Florentino came in, yes.
and the game just changed, just
It did.
automatically changed. You know, Florentino is more of a box-to-box player, I think, in my opinion, and it just changed the whole game. And I can't understand. You know, last year I say the same thing. Last year we did well with Florentino. We did very well with Samaris. You know, the two guys that really helped us recoup the 7 points. And then this year, while we're ahead 7 points, this guy comes in and we just take out players. We send Fedja to Spain. We put Florentino disappears. Jetson, we ship him over to England when these are two of the players that, you know, last year we were talking about 100 million euros each, and we just slide and slide and slide and slide. So a very good question by Rob, and I do believe that it has something to do with last year Porto sliding and this year Benfica sliding as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I'll get you, Steve, right now. You know, Brito is coming in, and you know he's really talking about the 15 point deficit. We, you know, starting down 7, now we're up 8. So Benfica lost 15 points. What would you say, in your opinion, Steve, is the reason why that happened? Do you think it had a lot to do with the Weigl move or not?
Yes and no. But here's one thing I wanted to say when George mentioned about Gabriel. I noticed something the other on the game of Guimarães. 15 minutes in, I believe, 16 minutes in, he's literally like, okay, 2 metros, 3 metros do jogador do Guimarães. O jogador do Guimarães takes off. Dude, Gabriel is like not even... It reminded me of that Sporting player. What was his name? O que foi lá para a Inglaterra, man? Ou para a Espanha. O Wilson. Carvalho, there you go, Carvalho. Turtle speed. Turtle. 15 minutes in. That tells you everything about the guy, bro. It's Gabriel. I don't know what's wrong with him. When he came in to Benfica, he was doing awesome. I saw him. The guy was dangerous. Now, he was literally right there, like 3 feet away from the guy. And the guy just goes like, whoop. And he's just chasing him like nothing's happening.
Before his injury and before the break from COVID-19, Benfica had never lost with Gabriel on the field.
Agreed. I agree. That's why I said in the beginning when I saw him, I was like, oh, this guy is dangerous. All of a sudden, my man comes back and he like, you know, the guy's right there and he's like, I'm gone.
Hey, Johnny, I got a question for you. Do you think
What's up?
out of all the teams that went into COVID-19 and then returned, the only club that did not take off any time whatsoever in terms of training, regardless if it was individual or as a team, was Porto? Do you think that influenced a lot of what happened after COVID-19?
Can you simplify the question for me? What was that?
Do you think that the break or the lack of, because Porto was the only team out of the 18 that never took a break. They didn't have an Easter break where they gave a week to 2 weeks off. They didn't have any type of break.
Right.
They went straight through, always training. Do you think that influenced the COVID-19 restart?
Oh yeah, for on Porto's part.
In comparison to everybody else.
I mean, they obviously were in all competitions, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Of course they had mais ritmo, you know, week in, week out, playing in big games, meaningful games with the other competitions.
No, he's not talking about that. So what he's talking about is when the Campeonato stopped because of the virus. Benfica sent their players away for 2 weeks. They went on vacation to wherever they wanted to. Sporting did the same thing. Porto did not allow their players to go anywhere. They had Zoom training sessions. They had one-on-one trainings with them, and you could tell from besides the first 2 games, I would say, where their legs were still a little bit heavy. After the first 2 games, Porto has by far the best step and physically you could tell that they're much better than Benfica. Anybody's better than Benfica when it comes to that part. And even
Right, they didn't lose a step. It looks like they didn't lose a step. Right. Right.
That's the comment right now.
We never gave up. We never gave up. Yeah, like I follow most of these people. I follow the whole Porto thing, on Twitter, whatever, and they never stopped. I would see them like training, running, biking, weightlifting, anything.
The
And
motivation was definitely there.
Exactly, and I'm not gonna lie. I do follow other players, like some from Benfica, some from Sporting, some from there, some from here, and they're taking pictures of the ocean or a boat or this or that. No, you wanted to
they chilling.
So you know what? Como você was like, let's what? Vocês querem ser campeões? Trabalhem, foda-se. That's how we gotta do
exactly.
it.
Right.
I think to me, the before and after the COVID thing, Porto was the only one that actually, came back and said, like, let's do this. Even though like some other teams, what was it? Portimonense, was it? It was Portimonense. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was Portimonense and Sporting that came back strong too. But Porto was actually the one there. It was like, no, we're not giving this up. We're going to be champions, and that's it. Even though the first 2 games were a little shaky, but
I'm gonna say a couple of things. Sporting, when the Mourinho came on board, basically we shipped away Gizé and Bolazzi, which that was a great move, and we've been rebuilding. So everyone likes the youth, but when we lose like today with an experienced team, all of a sudden we lose our cool. Epa, precisamos comprar X amount of reforços. We do, but not too many. I would say some key veterans. But I'm going to bring something about Benfica, which I mentioned, and everybody kind of dismissed me. And I'm going to bring it up again. Because what no-name boys did to their players, com as pedras no autocarro, I think personally, that affected the players psychologically and mentally. I think that put the players in a more nervous and anxious stage than ever before. A lot of people say, nah, não foi nada disso. But when you see 2 of your colleagues a receberem pedradas nos cornos ou nos olhos, que ficou com vidros nos olhos e teve que ir para o hospital, it scares you. And then when you see a casa do treinador, do Pizzi, filha da puta joga a bola, that affects the players, because now you're taking away the comfort zone. And I think that played a big role in a negative way against the plantel do Benfica. People don't want to admit that, but if those players could actually voice their opinion and admit it, I bet you half of the plantel would say yes. That played a big factor in our way of playing.
I agree.
Definitely.
It doesn't matter.
Definitely.
It doesn't matter what team. It doesn't matter who you support. It shouldn't happen.
Any team's going to get shaken up.
Yeah, we're in 2020. We don't need to be doing these things. That's just stupid and barbaric and dumb and childish. Shouldn't be doing this. Eu sou Portista ferranho. There are times that I curse him out. I'm going to be honest. I didn't vote for Pinto Costa. I voted for the other guy, but I don't go and go threaten the man. I don't go and say things. And I was one in the group, and then Bruno can say this. I was very I don't know, guys. I don't know if we're gonna do this because we're shaking up here. We're not doing good. Everything's bad. Up until the game with Sport Braga, where Conceição comes out into the press and says, "Não há união, não há coisa, não há aquela garra dentro da equipe." Do balneário, exatamente. Não só no balneário, mas lá em cima também. But throwing stones, graffitiing the houses, that's my God. Like, come on, man. Support. Don't bring it down. Don't make it worse. Support your team. Be up there. This shit's like in Portugal's got to stop, man. It's like we got to grow.
Those aren't supporters, man. Those are just
They're
thugs.
fake. Yeah, they're fake.
They're
They're
just
fake.
thugs out here.
I
Exactly.
think that played a negative effect on the Benfica players.
No, I agree.
I'm not a big
It helped. It helped.
but when you see your bus being attacked and by your own fans, and your house being painted and damaged with graffiti, it scares you. It scares not only you but your family.
How do you even want to play after that? Like, honestly,
that's what I think happened. I know, I mean, that's one of the factors. I think there's a lot more, but anyway. So,
we have, I want to touch on something real quick. Rob Rito, we were talking about the whole COVID-19, and a lot of people don't understand. Tomáš Steves was one of the players that was isolated because he did catch COVID-19, apparently. So,
yeah, he did test.
We never stopped, and I think that has a lot to do with it because the message was very clear. If you listen to Sergio Conceição after the game in not the press conference but the Sport TV interview, he mentioned a couple of things that were very important, but one of them was that the team after the game against Braga, where they lost, the message was, we're going to continue to work and we're going to recover those points. You guys will wait and see. Just continue to do what we ask you to do and we will recover. And eventually it came to fruition. And it's not only you recovered 7 points, but now you have an 8-point lead and you have the title in the bag. There's another thing that I do want to say about this whole fair play situation. And if you listen to Shainu that was commentating on the game, at the end of the game, Eduardo Quaresma came out and he handed his jersey to Sergio Conceição. And Sergio Conceição swapped the jersey with him. And, they complimented one another. And Shainu kept on saying that you don't see a lot of that in soccer anymore. You don't see a lot of teams or a lot of players swapping jerseys anymore, and that's something that needs to return to calm the issues within the tension within clubs. So let's see. Go ahead, Steph. You want to say something?
Yeah, because I think Quaresma played with Sergio Conceição's son.
Yes.
Sergio Conceição Jr.
Claro, porque havia um que estava na academia do Sporting, outro do Benfica. O do Benfica até foi embora há pouco tempo. And then o Quaresma knew his son, and they played together, and that's why.
But that's still, that's beautiful to see.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But he knew Sergio Conceição on a personal basis.
Yeah.
That's why.
I'm sure it happens all the time. The cameras just don't show it.
Yeah.
All right, we're all going
to
we're going to take a crack at this one. I'll start with George, since he's the
odd man out.
Some time over at Porto, yes or no?
Okay, so
no, you will not leave.
It's 5 of us today, so make the answers a little bit quicker.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you will not leave. You'll resign.
He will resign. Well, remember, he still has 2 more years on his contract.
He'll resign.
One more season.
You're right. One. Okay, Steph, yes or no?
I think the only way he will stay if it's they allow him to buy certain players.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult. Steve, go ahead.
I don't think so. I think he's staying. Like what Steph said, probably players. Maybe a little bit more power on the commanding part, but I think he's staying.
Johnny.
It's a possibility he may stay another year, but I believe the Porto team may get dismantled this offseason. Maybe a couple heads are gonna go. Yeah, a lot of transfers going on. So I think Benfica too.
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of it at least between Porto, Benfica, and Braga. You're going to see a lot of players from Braga. Yeah. But I don't think that Sergio Conceição is going to stay. I know that his big dream is Italy. I think that's where he wants to coach. I don't think he wants to stay in Portugal anymore, so I think he's going to move on, which is okay with me. Not to mention that the involvement of the youth, he's going to have to bring in a lot of youth players, and let's be honest, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that's known to develop players, young players. Does he have the patience to sit there and develop players? I don't think so. I think they're going to move on and they're going to get someone else. But that's just time will tell. We'll see what happens.
A quick
All right.
update: Jorge Jesus just won another title in Brazil. They won 1-0 against Fluminense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congrats.
And he'll be in Lisbon on Saturday to sign with Benfica for 4 years.
Já vai celebrar com a brasileira.
É, cara.
Bem boa, caralho.
Ela é boa mesmo, meu.
O cuzão.
Ela é bem boa, meu. E a gaja é educada, meu. Então aquilo tem money.
Conhece as leis todas. Chupa tudo o dinheiro todo.
O gajo tem uma conversa, moço. O gajo tem uma conversa.
Caralho, meu.
Ora, chega ali, é logo, pau, bora. É aquele cabelo, man. É aquele cabelo.
É ele
não falha.
É ele e o Leonardo Jardim.
That's how he bags him. He bags him with the hair.
That hair, man.
Okay, so I have a question for all of you.
Exactly.
And I'm going to start with George on this one. This is from me to George. Is George Jesus coming? And if he's coming, is it an embarrassment for Benfiquistas? Because they said when he switched Benfica to Sporting, he should drop dead. He could die tomorrow. É filho da puta. É mal agradecido. And now you guys are about to take him back. Hypocrisy total. What do you think? He's coming or no?
He's coming, and he's signing for 4 years on Saturday. But I don't think it's a reflection of us Benfiquistas. It's a reflection of a president that his ass is burning in that hot seat. And before he gets his ass to go to jail, he's going to bring in the coach that he thinks could save him. His elections in October, and that too from going next to Valius Viva. So it's not a reflection on me; it's a reflection on the president.
Okay, what do you think, Steve?
Deixa eu ouvir mais uma vez, meu. Eu quero que esse caralho se ajoelhe lá no Dragão mais uma vez. Deixa eu ouvir. Deixa eu ouvir.
Okay.
O Jorge Jesus.
What do you think, Johnny?
Bem, só um segundinho. O Jorge Jesus, no seu primeiro ano, fez bem. Fez um bom campeonato, fez Benfica campeão, whatever, mas depois
ganhou, ele ganhou 6 títulos no Benfica.
Ganhou.
Ou mais, até.
Não. 14.
Roubou.
Roubou, mas não foi só ele.
Ganhou muitas taças da Liga, também contam.
Também contam, mas isso pronto, isso foi, já sabe como é que
é. Não digas merda porque ainda não a ganhou.
Se a gente conhece ganhar, já tínhamos ganhado. Não, também vamos assim, né?
Deve ser isso, deve.
But listen, the thing is, the man is doing good, and all of a sudden he starts to inventar and shit, and all of a sudden, boom! Lá vai Liga, lá vai Taça de Portugal, lá vai Europa League Final, lá é tudo, véio. E depois o gajo fica ali, e depois ajoelha-se no Dragão. Deixa eu ouvir.
Exactly.
Okay.
Bring him on.
What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, bring him in, man. Bring him in. Sign him up. I want to see.
What do you think, Bruno?
Que traga a brasileira, man.
I'm gonna. Steve, filho dentro, pá. O Steve tá afiando dentro, tem calma, mano.
Caralho, ele vem com um prinop e tudo já.
A mulher dos Jorge Jesus vai foder os dedos quando chegar a Portugal.
Eles fazem lá um bacanal e aquilo passam.
I'm gonna
já foi internet da história.
Esse cara está a gaguejar.
Já foste, moço.
Já foi, não pagou o bill.
Já foste. Estás aí ou não?
You're going to pay this money to get this guy back. All this money. You're going to waste all this money on players' fates.
Exactly.
Guys that have already done. And then you have a rough start to the league, right? You have the rough start to the league. You don't get into Champions League. All of a sudden, Orelhas loses the election, and now you got a guy that's the new president, and he doesn't like Jorge Jesus at all. Name coberto de chocolate. He likes him, and
Estamos a falar
you're gonna have
do Rui Gomes da Silva?
yeah.
Oi, Jesus.
That's gonna be one scenario. That's a deadly scenario.
Esse também não é a solução de Benfica.
Isso aí,
mas-
meu Deus do céu, mano.
Well,
Antes preferia eu se fosse benfiquista, antes preferia o Bruno, como é? Bruno de Costa.
o Bruno Costa Carvalho.
Ah,
Pois.
Actually, we're gonna bring this up.
É Bruno do Carvalho, caralho.
George doesn't approve. George, you're not approving that one?
No,
Okay.
no,
Estás perdido, então, olha.
no.
But, Brito asked a question. Outside question. No one asked. Do you think all these charges at Benfica is making this club focus? Is it truth or not? George, go ahead.
What are you talking about? Let me see. Outside
Charge-
question. No one
the
asked.
new charges.
O Saco Azul e o Lex e os padres e as freiras, agora também há freiras.
caralho, também já tem freiras?
Já era, mas elas dizem que gostam de levar no bujão.
No, but I don't understand the question.
Oh,
The
this-
charges at Benfica is making this club focus.
Yeah,
If
like
it's true.
do you think that?
Distraction.
It's a distraction.
I'll have to
I don't think
translate.
I don't think it's a distraction to the players. I mean, it might be a distraction to the upper management, to the president and Ming Suarez Diaz and all of them up there. I don't think for the players don't really care as long as their paycheck is in their bank account at the end of the month.
A última notícia que saiu foi assim: Saco Azul, branqueamento de capitais também investigado. E depois vem na página da frente um gajo com orelhas muito grandes. Como é que se chama esse gajo?
Dumbo.
Não, eu chamo-lo, como é que se chama? O Gaddafi dos pneus.
Tu sabes,
Hey,
tu,
hey.
tu sabes o que é que ele está a fazer agora? Que eu I learned this 2 seconds ago. He's trying to convince Varandas to give us o Bruno Carvalho sócio back so he can win the elections and he can become a distraction again for him to save his ass. Que agora já não tem Bruno Carvalho para o safar. Agora as notícias saem e olha, sempre Benfica corrupção, Benfica corrupção, Benfica corrupção, Benfica corrupção. E os benfiquistas, que eu pensava que eram pessoas inteligentes, há alguns como o Jorge, mas há muito poucos, ainda não se aperceberam que o cancro lá no Benfica é o Orelhas. Enquanto aquela merda não sair de lá, a instituição do Benfica vai sofrer durante muitos anos. Os títulos que vocês ganharam por corrupção vão perdê-los um dia mais tarde.
I don't think that'll happen.
It's gonna snowball. I think they're gonna snowball.
It's exactly. I agree. It's gonna be a slap in the wrist. Have a nice day.
If it was in Italy or
Vai
if it
lá,
was in
merda
Italy
nenhuma.
or Germany or something, it would. Not in Portugal.
It's not
Não,
gonna
em Portugal não.
Não,
Porque
Portugal aquilo é tudo uma merda.
O pessoal quer chamar da gente de burro, porque aquela camisola do que tu Eusébio, que o Valsos que vinham lá dentro, a maioria dos benfiquistas dizia assim, mas aquilo era normal. Normal o caralho. Os Valsos eram para cima de 400 mocas. A camisola de Eusébio também não sei quanto é que custa, mas não são baratas, atenção. E então, aquilo tudo junto recebia o árbitro, os árbitros assistentes, o observador, eram 5 que recebiam por jogo. Aquilo tudo multiplicado era $500 million. When you talk about $500,000, that's a fucking investment.
Out of all the cases, that one is the least important to me. Yes, I even fashion
I know, but
that doesn't make any sense.
When you put a lot of effort and you spend $500,000, you're telling me that's not an investment?
There's no effort. You do that. You did that.
Que me deu dinheiro a mim, caralho, em vez de gastar em putas e vinho verde e vouchers.
I'll take some of that too. Shit.
Eu comprava uma casa, uma piscina e convidava-vos a vocês à minha casa.
That was done to every referee.
Eu até gritava Benfica, se me dessem $1 million.
That was done to every referee, whether there was a win, a loss, or a tie.
Sim, mas houve com atenção que aquilo que eu estou a dizer. Aquilo foi um investimento de $500 mil. Aquilo não é
Tudo
só
absoluta.
umas camisolas, e são uns falsos. Foi $500 num ano. É muito dinheiro, caralho. Não me venham dizer que não. Paga muitos funcionários, muita gente que não tem dentes, não tem pernas.
Okay,
Casamentos, pagou casamentos também.
But what are you exactly talking about? Are you talking about the waste of money, or are you talking about that a referee is going to corrupt themselves because of a fucking Eusebio shirt and a voucher to go eat? Come on.
I don't think he's saying about that. I think he's saying about like it's how much was spent for what it was. That's
what reason was
for the reason, exactly, for the reasons. And we all know it was just no damn jersey, on a damn box. Yeah, the jersey might have been expensive, but it was not that. There's dinners, there's hotel rooms, there's so and so, and that and that, and spas and this and that.
Right.
Se o Bruno vem à minha casa, vocês vêm à minha
Cars.
casa, são os meus amigos, não é?
Exactly.
Eu vou-vos comprar o melhor vinho tinto, umas boas febres, não sei o quê, porque vocês são os meus amigos, mas ao fim e ao cabo, de vocês até pode ser que seja carpinteiro. What am I hoping for? That you'll do a special price for me? Oh, hey, you know, Steph, I'll do your kitchen. I'll do your kitchen for $3,000 only, because you're my friend and I'm treating you well. You Luís Vieira não é estúpido. Ele fazia aquilo com aquela maldade. Olha, toma aqui umas camisolas e uns vasos, mas aqueles calls 50-50 e deixa passar, meu. Ele não era burro. Nunca foi. Eu nunca chamei um homem de burro.
E depois, se não dava certo para o lado deles, era logo, corta a nota ao gajo. Vamos lá tomar conta do vamos embora.
Cancel the voucher.
Like, pow! Esse é fora.
Even more of a reason to get foreign referees in the league, man.
No, it's not about getting foreign referees in the league, bro. It's about
no, I mean it's the principle. Principle.
No, it's about putting these refs on a professional contract, and that's it. But listen,
well, they are in a professional contract. The thing
no. Há que fazer uma coisa a séria. Like, sem ninguém mexer com eles, não há dinners, não há nada, não há coisa. É desistir com o estudo e trazer link para Portugal. Because the Portuguese league has potential to be better, greater. But because of all this crap that's going on, you cannot.
All right, we're going to move on to this question here from David Pereira. Seems like we are on pace to have a national team with no domestic representation. Not a good look for Liga Nos. Do you guys agree? Disagree?
I agree.
George?
Yes or
no?
I mean, no national representation, no domestic representation.
So meaning
you have the Nilu, you have
Rafa, you have Pizzi.
You have Rafa, Pizzi, you could have Andre Almeida, you go to Sporting. Who can you get in Sporting?
Maybe Maxi.
Maxi, maybe.
As a third keeper.
Maybe we want
o
Giovanni, talvez.
Quaresma Neia. Olha o jogo dele hoje. Muito embaixo hoje. I thought he was going to do it, Brian.
He had a poor game.
Okay,
I don't think
I thought Quaresma was going to shine today.
I don't think he had a poor game. But Steph, you agree? You agree with this question? Yes or no? Do you think?
I don't think it's a bad thing, because it shows that our best players, they play in the top leagues, and Bruno Fernandes just left. It's actually, it says good things about our Portuguese players, our Portuguese coaches, that we all over the world in the best leagues. It's actually a good thing, and I think we still have.
It's actually a great thing.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I think Danilo will be called still. He's still a good defense number 6. I think, like you said, Pizzi will be called, full of experience, good player. I like him personally, and I think Maxi will have a chance, and maybe Giovanni. So yeah, we're still gonna have plenty of.
I'm gonna add something to this question. Don't forget something, David. That. Because he's listening, there's going to be a lot of players that are playing in foreign leagues, and they're going to be looking to come back to Portugal in the leagues to play. So don't forget that. Guys like, for example, William Carvalho, Diogo Dalot, because it seems like he's been placed onto transfer list. And he's already said more than once that he would like to return to Porto. And so on and so on and so forth. There's other players out there in other leagues that are going to be looking to come back to Portugal. So don't be surprised. So I don't see too much into it. Steve, yes or no? Yeah, is this good, bad?
I don't see it, man. I don't know, man.
You don't know.
Maybe in
Okay.
our youth.
Johnny.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hinder us as long as we're winning Euros and World Cups, bro. Just put the best lineup out there, regardless if they play in Liga Nos or not, That's
Okay.
just me.
How many Brazilian players play in the Brasileiro?
None, right?
Beats me.
How many
I
national
think
team players play in Brazil?
none.
National
One-
team players,
one,
none.
two.
Maybe one or two. Maybe the
So-
backups or some. Maybe.
And is that a bad thing for Brazil? So
No.
it's the same thing for Portugal. Same thing for Portugal.
George, but let me ask you. Let me throw in a little disclaimer there that many people don't know. There's that the Brazilian national team is not the true Brazilian national team. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that, it's a game of interest with the Brazilian national team. Agents paid the coach to call their players, and in Portugal, we're starting to see a lot of that. You're seeing basically one agent running the national team, because the majority of the players that get called up are his. So let's not forget about that. Here's another interesting question from David Pereira. Will the Liga ever restructure the TV deal to a more even distribution in hopes to create more parity? I'll start with Johnny. Johnny, you think so?
I mean, I hope, one day they will.
By the way,
We definitely need that exposure out here in the States.
I'm
Gold
going to
TV.
say,
I mean, we have Gold TV out here, but
I'm
It's
going
not
to throw.
cutting
I'm going to throw in the. You probably don't know. David Pereira is a Braga exclusive fan. 365 days Braga fan, not 363-day Braga fan. He's 365-day Braga fan. So this is the reason why he's asking. Steve, do you ever see this happening? Yes or no?
I hope so, because I don't think it's fair that os três grandes only get the big slice of the cake, because that big slice of the cake, if we break it and give it to more of the little guys and they get it, guess what? Our league becomes more competitive.
Yes.
What happens to that?
exactly. Yeah.
More views, more attention, more buying out there. Go get talent. Bring the audiences to Portugal, to the Portuguese league.
Okay.
So I hope one day it gets restructured.
Steph, yes or no? Will this ever be restructured?
Yeah, I agree with all of you that it should be straight to the same amount to everybody. And a little bit off topic, I would invest a little bit more money on the APAF. Train these goddamn stupid referees to bater no apito na boca tanto tempo. I hate the fact that.
E deixar os jogadores jogar, caralho.
Yeah, caralho. Até
Yeah, man.
bocadinho
play.
duro, que
Jeez.
mala que tem. Yeah, they have to stop with these, and also give yellow cards to players that fake it. And I think the commentator at one point
Right.
was talking about it,
Simulation.
and
All
they
that.
were
Yes,
saying,
I
but
agree.
to understand, the VAR cannot intervene on a corner kicks and fouls, like fouls in the midfield and all that stuff. But it might change later, the protocol, and they might, open it up to that the VAR could intervene in corner kicks, direct kicks, and fouls, and they should be. The VAR should be able to call, hey, Bruno, of lá, olha que o jogador do Porto ou do Sporting, aquilo foi falta, ele dá um amarelo, meu. E devia ser assim, para parar com essa merda, porque há muita mania de jogadores portugueses que se atiram para o chão. I hate that, and it's killing.
Yeah,
our
Tino's
Portuguese
Pochão, and then they're got the one eye, like.
They're looking.
Yeah, exactly.
Epá, e
They're
não é
peeking
só
to
isso,
see if
é que estragam a relva.
George, do you see that the TV deal will ever get restructured?
Well, look, in other countries, not every team gets the same amount of money. So whoever says that everybody will get the same amount of money, that's not reality. For example, in England,
It should be.
No,
it's not like that anywhere. So if Benfica brings most of the spectators, how is Benfica going to get the same amount of money as Sportivo de Chaves, for example?
Benfica doesn't even enter in this discussion because BTV holds the rights.
No, they don't. They don't hold the rights
In
anymore.
casa, sim.
Os jogos
No,
de casa.
they don't. No, they don't. They don't.
Externo ainda sim.
No, they don't. That's not the contract with.
You don't see games do Benfica in casa na
no.
Sporting
Well,
TV.
That was by choice. That was by choice of Sport TV.
No.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Let him explain. George, explain that so the listeners may not know.
So the way it works with Benfica sold the rights to Nos, and Nos agreed to have Benfica transmit the 2019-2020 games still on BTV. And then after this year, they're going to revisit and see how they're going to transmit the games again.
But only the home games.
All the games.
So what you're saying?
The home games are not on Sport TV. Only on BTV.
Forget it.
Because of the agreement with Nos and with Benfica.
Time out, George, because I want to ask this question that people may not understand. So for the 2020-2021 season, will the home games for Benfica be on BTV or will they be on Sport TV?
That's still going to be negotiated.
So
and it's Nos that is going to decide how they want to transmit it. If they want to keep it on VTV or if they want to do it on Sport TV.
It's depende do pacote dos padres e das freiras.
Não,
whatever.
Depende da missa, pô. É missa. Depende da missa que vai ser rezada.
Now, as far as the TV rights. Mas vocês estão a falar de missa, mas isso, nós aprendemos com as missas no apito dourado e também
lá vai, pronto.
Com vocês também.
Vamos lá, continuamos.
Nos won't be the sponsor next year, though.
No, they won't.
No, they won't be the sponsor. They won't be the sponsor of the league.
But that doesn't have anything to do with it.
No, that
doesn't have anything to do with it.
That doesn't do with it. Gotcha. All right, so go ahead.
They're changing the name of the league, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, they have to get a new sponsor.
The sponsor.
Yeah.
The sponsor.
I heard it's Placard, whatever they're called.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Now as far as the TV rights, so let's take England for an example. In England, you have two things. You have an equal share that's divided amongst all the teams, which is a small amount. I think it's 35 million pounds. Everybody gets assigned 35 million pounds. And then depending on where you fall in the standings, you get an extra amount. For example, 2018-2019 season, Manchester City earned over 150 million pounds, while the last place team earned 98 million pounds, which is still a big chunk of change. But there's a difference of almost 70 million pounds between total amounts between the first place and the last place team. So it's not everybody gets the same amount of money and we go home and everybody's able to spend the same amount. It doesn't work like that.
And we're talking about a different reality. I mean, the monies from England and the French league and the Spanish league, they have a lot more money than we do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but hold on a second, George. The one thing with the EPL, isn't it that once you're in the first division or in the EPL, when you come from the championship to the first division or the EPL, whatever you want to call it, don't they all make, because they call it the $100 million game. The $100 million game, because if you qualify,
the least amount that you will make as the last team in the standings, it's 98 million pounds.
All right, so
é mau,
all right. Okay,
olha o Wolves ganhar 98 million.
Well,
já não havia equipa nem nada.
I know in Spain it's very similar to the same structure as in Portugal, where Barcelona and Real Madrid get X amount, and then it's like Valencia, Atletico, and Sevilla get an X amount, and then it's like another group gets an X amount, and then there's everybody else that gets the same amount. I personally don't think that it's right. You can't. I don't think that that's fair. It's got to be. That's what you call it's revenue sharing. You have to start dividing, and you have to make everything a little bit more even.
But I agree with George. I mean, when you have a club like Futebol Clube Porto, Sporting Lisboa, Benfica, e Sporting Clube Portugal that brings most of the fans to the stadiums, not only home but away, then they should get the biggest slice. Because if you see a Belenenses Aves, estão lá 200 pessoas, and that's including the players, os dirigentes, presidentes e os familiares. Estão para aí 10 adeptos, com o bombo e que está a comer por 20 termossos. And that's it.
Well, here's a question by David. The Liga tells every team to negotiate their own TV deal, but it has to be with specific companies, Sport TV. Not much leverage for negotiating.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect.
Okay, so you want to explain?
No, Porto didn't negotiate with Sport TV. Porto,
right.
Who's Porto sponsor? It's Mel. And then Mel sells the services to Sport TV, negotiates with Sport TV. So nobody's negotiating with Sport TV directly.
No,
there you go.
Each club that they deal with Sporting TV.
Incorrect. That's incorrect.
So what, with the cable companies?
You have NOS. You have NOS. I have NOS. Bruno has Mel and another one. There's another one. It starts with an A. Starts with an A. Altis, whatever. And then they sell. That's correct. And then they sell the rights to. They negotiate the rights with whatever TV station they want. Yeah. So the clubs don't negotiate with Sport TV.
Well, Altis is what? It's Optimum TV. I think that's what it. Over here in the United States, it's called Optimum Television.
Yeah. Altis.
Well, I think what they're actually changing their name, and it's going to be universal, and it's going to be Altis everywhere, no matter United States or
that's what I heard too. It's Altis that's going to be taking over everything.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. But listen, in Portugal, they don't know how to make money. They nunca aproveitaram o mercado americano. They never put a package together to sell it here in America, and I'm pretty sure they could make a sweet deal for the immigrants. We have to go to café e o caralho.
Big time.
E não é só aqui nos Estados Unidos, em todo mundo, onde há português. Boom,
they don't know how to make money. They just don't know how to make money, these guys. They want to be so greedy, and instead of making a few million, they want to triple it, and then they don't make shit.
Yeah. And they don't even fucking use it the right way. They just spend it on dumb shit. Para os bolsos dos outros e em vez de meter no clube.
Everything's just a
Do you want to
process.
talk about the goleadores? It's an interesting race going on with those goleadores.
Oh, yeah.
We can bring that up. Let's see. Top goal scorer right now. Pizzi, Vinicius, and Paulinho, 17 goals. Paulinho just scored a hat-trick before today.
Yeah.
Taremi at 14, Fabio Abreu at 12, Marega, Ricardo Horta at 11, and Martin, Sandro Lima, Douglas, and Alex Telles at 10. And we'll leave it at that. Benfica does have both top goal scorers sharing with Paulinho. I'll start with you, Steve. Who's winning this?
Shit, I want Paulinho to win this shit.
You want Paulinho to win. Johnny, who do you think is going to win this one?
Who's that?
Top goal scorer.
É o teu vizinho, caralho.
Top goal scorer.
Top. 2 games left. I don't even know, bro. Who's ahead? I'm sorry, man.
Pizzi, Vinicius, and Paulinho all with 17. Taremi at 14.
I think Vinicius might get that one, man.
Steph.
I mean, I'm looking at the schedule. So Braga plays against Tondela. So, and then they play against Porto. But Porto will be relaxed, and I think Braga might win against Porto. So I'm going to give it to Paulinho.
George.
I think Benfica gets a couple of penalties and PC takes it.
Ai, tá os patos a
He's gonna
funcionar,
score, meu.
caralho.
He's got a
Easy
corner.
gets it.
Bicho, o Luís Vieira já está a chamar amém. Então, esta merda, penalti, o quê, caralho?
Well, he is, in George's defense, Beasley is, I think, 1 goal away from tying Bruno Fernandes' record. So that might not be too far fetched for a couple of phone calls to be made, so we can try to get him.
Who's in the lead now? It's Vinicius is in the lead, right?
É o
Não,
Vinícius,
é o
Paulinho e
Vinícius,
Pizzi.
Paulinho e o Pizzi. Os três.
All,
Yeah.
tied at
All
17.
three have 17.
Os três a
Yeah, I think-
bigarada. Ranhei cocô e facada.
PC takes it. PC takes it.
Okay. All
E
right.
tu, Bruno? E tu?
Ela até vai fazer pizzas.
I'm gonna say it's Vinicius. I'm gonna say it's Vinicius because I really think that he was their best striker this year. I think he was the best striker in the league and it wasn't even by a close margin. It was by a far margin. How good he really is.
I'm looking at record and they have a picture of on the goleadores. They have a picture of Paulinho e Pizzi e do Vinícius não tem. O gajo é tão feio que nem põe a fotografia dele lá.
O gajo é tão mau, meu. O gajo está com uma cara de mau ali, até parece que mete medo a alguém. Aos gatos lá na biela.
We're at a minute 28.
Ele veio para
We're gonna go into
caralho.
We're gonna go into next week. The matches are starting Saturday. Rio Ave, Santa Clara. Rio Ave needs that game. Famalicão, Boa Vista. Both Famalicão really needs to play that one. Bolonense and Gil Vicente Bolonense needs to win. Guimarães, Marítimo. I think both teams are going to play a little bit more relaxed. Guimarães very difficult to make it. Paços Ferreira, Portimonense. I think this is probably the game of the week. For both teams needing points.
Yeah.
Tondela, Braga, both teams need points for different reasons. Porto Moreirense, Sporting Setúbal, both teams needing points for their own respective reasons. And then Aves, Benfica. Obviously, Benfica is pretty much in second place. Aves already out.
Olha aí está. Aquilo vai ser 6-0 e o Pizzi ganha a bola de prata.
Bronze.
Aí
A bota de ouro, a bota de ouro.
Aí tá.
All right. The first team in action is going to be Porto Moreirense. Steve, I'll let you go first. Who wins?
O Moreirense está a vir de... I say Porto, 2-1.
2-1. All right. I'm going to say Porto wins at home 3-0. Johnny, what do you got?
Porto should win easily. I mean, not easily, but I think Moreirense is going to be up for it. But I think Porto is going to play a lot more youngsters, and I think they'll still win though. About probably 2-1.
2-0. Steph, what do you got?
Yeah.
I think Moreirense will go to Stade Dragão, will win 2-1. They haven't lost in 13 games. People keep on forgetting that.
Yep. I did it.
Yeah,
I didn't forget that. I did. That's why I said
Lucky 13, so they're done.
Yep.
George, what's up? What do you got?
I think Porto's still going to be drunk. 1-0 Porto.
Drunk.
Yeah.
All right.
Unless they pull a Liverpool.
O Porto,
Unless they pull a Liverpool.
Yo, that was crazy.
Sabe o que é que o Porto está a pensar? Está a pensar no dia 1º de agosto.
Exatamente. Já estamos a começar a pensar nisso.
That's what the coach said. He said
Os jogadores já a pensar
Exatamente.
no
Conceição já disse, já estamos a pensar no dia 1 de agosto.
Conceição should be thinking about 1 de agosto already for 2 years because he's got really bad luck na Taça de Portugal.
Mas agora vai jogar em Coimbra. É diferente em Coimbra.
Isso é terra dele, moço. Isso é terra do Conceição.
Minha também.
Mas tu...
A minha é mais além. É Aveiro.
Sporting Setúbal.
Aveiro, baby.
O Sporting vai ganhar, mas não vai ser 2-1 à rasquinha.
Johnny.
Foda-se.
Same, 2-1.
Steve.
3-0.
3-0. Wow. George.
He'll be fine.
Sporting who? Who's the
Uh,
Sporting?
Setúbal.
Oh, yeah.
Tá
I
a
think-
rasca o Setúbal. Tá a rasca. Precisa
Setúbal's
I think-
best.
pontos.
I think 2-0 Sporting.
I'm gonna say 1-1 to complicate things down at the bottom at the end.
They lost the last 5 games to Setúbal.
Yeah, and in a couple of games they actually had the lead or they had the tie and they lost it at the end. But something's got to change for them. I just can't see how this team, roster wise, cannot stay in the first division. But that's just let's see. All right, odds Benfica. George, what do you got?
I'm gonna stay with my ties because every time I say it's a tie, Benfica wins. Every time I say Benfica wins, they lose. So I'm gonna say 1-1.
Hã?
Steph, go ahead. What do you got?
0-6. 0-6.
Bruto. Ah, bruto.
Well, odds.
Então, aquilo
O
parece uma...
Benfica, caralho, está a dizer 0-6.
Oh, that's
0-6. Aquilo,
Every time
eles têm milhafre, mas eles vão pensar que é uma águia e ficam todos confundidos e o caralho ganham.
That's the sister club. Nah, Benfica's gonna house them.
Olha,
how much?
4.
4.
4-1.
Não tem coisa nenhuma no Aves, meu.
The Vaseline's gonna be on deck.
eles vão dar quente ao Eusébio com os valses e o caralho e mais fotografias. Aquilo é
Exato.
beleza.
Mas é fotografias daqui.
Não sei, fala-se mais logo.
Brasileira do Jorge Jesus.
É, já estava a ver. Era como o Steve ficou lá. O Steve ficou lá.
Da Micas Cabras, sabes quem é Micas Cabras?
Não.
Era uma prostituta lá da minha terra, era maior que o Lincoln Tunnel.
Aves Benfica. Steve, what do you got?
3-1. Ai,
3-1.
desculpa. 1-3.
1-3. I'm going to say. O Monte Santo is Benfiquista. They discovered it. So I'm going to say 0-3 Benfica. Vinicius gets 2 goals and PZ 1 to make it interesting at the end.
Ui.
All right.
Falta o Tondela Braga, pelo menos, não. O Braga
Okay, you want to cover that one? Yeah, we can cover that one. Tondela, you want to do and actually we're going to throw in another one. Let's afraid of Portimonense because that's probably the biggest game of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Tondela Portimonense, what do you got?
Tondela Portimonense. Quem?
Jorge.
No,
Ele está a dormir.
Tondela
cara.
Braga, isn't it?
Então. Tondela
Está a pensar,
Braga.
pá? No, Ferreira Portimonense.
Foda-se.
Passo Ferreira Portimonense. Passo Ferreira 2-1.
Okay. Wow. Steph, go ahead.
Portimonense 2-1.
Wow, good. All right. Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Portimonense.
Johnny.
I'm going tie. 2-2.
Ooh.
I mean, Bastos is 13th. Portimonense is 15th. 5-point difference. I think they're, sort of the same.
I think it's going to be
with a tie.
I'm going to say this is a wild game. It's going to be Passo Ferreira 2, Portimonense 3.
What?
Passo Ferreira 2, Portimonense 3. I think it's going to be a wild game. It's going to be back and forth. Back and forth. Tondela Braga. Steph.
O Tondela, deixa-me ver. O Tondela precisa de pontos. O Tondela vai ganhar em casa 2-1.
Jeez.
Precisa de pontos o Tondela, senão vai...
E olha que o Tondela não está com medo, meu. Olha o que fez ao Benfica.
Vai com as putas, se não ganhar.
O Benfica e o Sporting, se eu não estou enganado. Aos dois.
O Sport tem aquela máquina, está calado. A gente vamos ser campeões e este ano outra vez matraquilhos. Eu jogo em casa sozinho, com a minha mulher, ela é benfiquista, não percebe nada daquela merda, eu ganho.
Bah, quem tem que dar o prediction aí?
Steve.
Eu? I say Tondela is definitely going to take it 1-0.
Wow.
Tondela win.
Johnny.
What? I'm hoping for a tie, but I know Braga's going to win. I think they're going to win like 2 or 3-1.
All right.
I say
George,
3-1.
You get your prediction, Georgie?
2-0, Braga.
All right, I'm gonna go 2-2. There's going to be a tie here. 2-2. Tondela and Braga. Don't sleep on Tondela because
Definitely.
don't sleep on Tondela because of Braga's defense. Their defense is not very strong.
Very weak right now.
So that's pretty much it. Last comments, Steve. Thank you for coming on, but you want to say your departing ways? You want to promote Ciabras? What do you want to do?
Não estou aqui para trabalhar nisso.
Hã?
Eu não estou a trabalhar, moço. Parabéns ao Porto, parabéns ao Mister, à equipa toda, aos portistas todos que acreditaram. Thank you for having me. If you guys ever want, let me know. And that's it.
Very good. Johnny, thank you for coming on. Last parting shots. What do you got?
Thank you. Real quick though, I just want to ask Steph. Steph, who was at fault there for Danilo's goal? Not marking him.
Sporar.
Sporar?
Yeah, he was the one marking him, and he didn't even jump with him. So, yeah, number 90.
Okay.
Sporar.
Okay.
O Danilo também é alto anyway. Vem mais alto.
And I know this isn't the Sporting 160 podcast, but
The best one.
The best one, of course. How you feel about these rumors with the socio? Well, not that's another topic, but like the Atletico goalkeeper.
Oh, Adnan.
Yeah,
Adnan.
Pedro Porro, Man City, right back.
I think that would be good acquisitions. I like it. He brings a lot of experience. The goalie, the Toro, is a young player. He'll be coming in on a loan, so that would be good. Fedal, o Marroquino, it looks like he's full of experience. So that would be good. So we shall see.
All right. And Robertoni?
Isso ele já era para vir há 10 anos atrás.
He's been linked to us before, yeah.
Foda-se. Eu já não quero esse gajo. Ele já vem mais velho que o Santa Claus.
Uma coisa que eu aprendi é não ouvir nada desses jornais portugueses, man. É esperar a que até saia no Porto app and that's it. Have a nice day.
É verdade.
Sporting doesn't want.
It holds no weight, really.
Sporting doesn't want any players to come before the age of 31, signing 4-year contracts with $2 million clean a year. Now we leave that for Fidel.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, we need that. We need a mix of an experience right now. We need a Mateo replacement. So that would be ideal.
Hey, listen. What about that kid you guys sent to England? Mateus Pereira leading assist in the.
Oh yeah.
Don't
remind me, man. Don't remind me.
A Klaus já foi ativada, foi por 10 milhões.
I mean,
yeah,
George,
we're getting 10 mil.
George, you got to understand something. That type of clause, it could go both ways. Fortunately for Mateus and his club, he got there and he became a very influential player.
With the
for Sporting. Clearly, they didn't believe in him enough to put the clause so low, and now look, they got a bargain of a player. It's the same. You can kind of compare it a little bit to like what happened with Ruben Neves in Porto.
Yeah,
they got him at a very cheap deal, and now he's worth 10 times what he,
Now, Sporting made a mistake, and when that mistake
I blame
was
JJ
made,
from Mateus Pereira.
Sporting made a mistake, and when that mistake was made, it was too late to fix it. Because if Mateus Pereira was still here with Ruben Amorim, he would start with him. Mas a asneira já estava feita.
Hey Bruno, one question for you. We're talking about Jota, you know, how we're gonna welcome him back and all that good stuff. But in the same breath, you said about Dalot coming back to Porto. Didn't Dalot leave Porto in a little bit of a sour note because he didn't want to re-sign, and Manchester just bought him for the clause of 20 million? Isn't that the same thing?
22.
But isn't that the same thing?
It's similar, yeah. I mean, but let's kind of analyze this right now. Porto's going to need a right back because most likely either Corona gets sold or he's going to get pushed back up as a winger. Obviously, Manafai is not the answer. He's a guy that can come in and sub, and I have to be honest, he's been decent these last couple of games. But is he the answer? No, he's not the answer.
No.
You have Tomáš Steves. Now, Tomáš Steves is a guy that they're depositing a lot of hope in that he's going to be the right back next year. So let's look at the other side. Alex Telles leaves because most likely he's going to leave.
Oh, he's definitely.
We're going to need
Chelsea,
a left back. Right. We're going to need a left back. And if you recall the year that we won prior to this one, Dalot made it on the scene as a left back, not as a right back.
Yep.
So I would not be totally surprised that he does come back as a Porto player on loan.
And another thing, he went under the influence of his father too. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, he did want to stay at least one more season. His father was the one who pushed him to leave to England.
They wanted the payday.
Yeah, exactly. They wanted the payday. That's basically it. They wanted the payday because Dalot said it. He wanted to stay one more season. But unfortunately,
Well, you don't think you can win that job from Luke Shaw?
EPL is a different game, man. You gotta be a lot more physical. You gotta run a lot more. And listen, a lot of these Portuguese players, the way they're developed, they don't do a lot of running. If you watch the way Portugal plays or the Portuguese league plays, the ball does a lot of the work. Yep. When you actually have to physically do a lot of the work, and we see that a lot in the United States. How many Portuguese players do you see, or guys that played in the Portuguese league, come into the MLS, and they are complete flops because they don't adapt to the way the style of play here. It's very similar to in England, and that's why it's either you pick it up or you don't.
Yep.
The guy that I'm actually really surprised is André Gomes as how good he's playing. Because he's not the fastest guy, but he's very technical. So he's actually been pretty decent. And
especially after the injury.
Right. A guy years ago that was a really big surprise for me was Thiago. Thiago that came from Benfica, and then he went to Atletico Madrid. I never thought that he was going to be a very good player in the EPL because I thought he was too slow. But he actually was better than when he was in Italy, which the game is so much slower, and he didn't adapt well in Italy. He wasn't good enough in Italy. So it really depends. Sometimes weird things do happen. All right, last thing. Brito just sent in him. The season is basically over. Who's going to have the biggest off season? I honestly think it's actually going to be Benfica because if they're going to make this investment in Cableta, it has to be Benfica because there's so much riding on him. George, do you agree?
Yeah. They're gonna put up the house.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think it's gonna be Benfica. You know, we're getting Jota, and rumor is that we're getting Bruno Henrique and Gerson for around between 40 to 50 million euros, which equals almost 300 million reais in Brazil, which is a fortune. And I think we're not gonna stop there. We're gonna get him a couple of other players.
Steph, who has the biggest off season? Real quick, because we're at 146.
Real quick, yeah, definitely Benfica. Morelia is trying to save his job because he knows as soon as he comes out of Benfica, he's going straight to jail.
Oh yeah,
amen.
Steve.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Benfica as well. As long as Conceição doesn't leave, I'm gonna say Benfica. As long as Conceição doesn't leave.
I mean that we'll see about that. Johnny.
Yeah, definitely Benfica. I think they're just gonna put up the house and Vieira's just gonna pull out all the stops for his last hurrah. So
Yeah.
Before
All
his ass
in.
gets
All
sent
in.
in.
Como dicen no
Before you
poker,
get sent
all
in.
All right. Johnny and Steve, thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. This is going to be episode 9. We're all out. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you wash your hands and your cool. All right.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys.
George, anybody? Last words?
We're
Last
good.
words?
Não vens
All
para
right,
a festa! Não vens para a festa!
Oi! Festa! That little guy!
Bruno, get a Twitter, man. Get a Twitter, man.
I don't need Twitter. I'm Twitter.
You too, George. Get a Twitter, man.
We don't need any of that stuff.
That's good, man. Thank you for having
All
me.
right,
Hey, guys. Thank you.
Later, guys. Thank you.
see you guys next time.
Vem
Obrigado.
pra festa,
Take care.
caralho!
Vem aqui pra festa!
Olha quem tá